Hey guys, what's up? I'm here with a review of a Swedish rape and revenge exploitation film from 1973, and this is the uncut version of this film I'm reviewing. And that movie is Thriller, A Cruel Picture, aka They Call Her One Eye, aka Hooker's Revenge, aka The Girl with One Eye, aka Cold Crime. Now, this movie follows a woman who is mute after being raped as a child and is kidnapped and forced into prostitution where she is abused and mistreated, as well as losing one of her eyes to one of the Johns. She eventually kind of sort of escapes her captors and plots to seek revenge for what they did to her. Starting off, what I'm going to talk about this film is acting and writing. The acting and writing in this movie aren't that great, but as I have said, and I'm going to say in this video even more, and I will probably always say, it's a low budget, it's a insert one of these phrases here, low budget 70s, 80s, independent film. Don't expect great writing or effects or anything. Although, for its time, the effects are very well done. I mean, this is like an early 70s movie, and the effects are very, very well done. I mean, the writing and the acting isn't that great, but again, to be expected. The movie starts off within, like, the first 2 minutes, you get a child rape. And that's not really what I want to see within the first, like, 5 minutes of my movies. But it was still, I think it's a key point of the plot. The middle section has a great amount, the middle section of the film has, like, a great amount of nudity, rape, sex, with full, visible penetration. Similar to the 70s women in prison movies or almost any exploitation horror film from the 70s. Plus shooting up drugs. These but these drugs are actually important. They are what is keeping this girl alive. Because if she doesn't get these drugs in her system, she can slowly die. That's why she has to stay with them, because she can only get the drugs from them. She has to work, through the week, and she gets 1 day a week off. And at about 40 minutes in, she starts using her days off to do what she wants with her time. They say you can do whatever you want, just don't escape. Again, not very logical, but 70s film, low budget, exploitation film, don't expect the greatest. But so she starts spending her time training in martial arts, learning how to drive, and learning marksmanship. And these three things will come in handy towards the last, like, probably about 40 minutes of the film. For the next probably about 10, maybe 15, 20 minutes, after you see after you see her doing a bit of training, you get a back and forth kind of montage between sex and training, and her training in martial arts and stuff. And it's actually, it's a weird combination, but it makes for a pretty cool montage, I must say. After, that montage, you see her preparing to exact vengeance. You see her buying a car and getting a gun and, all this, and everything that she needs to exact her vengeance. The killings that she commits aren't very brutal, but 70s film, I mean, yeah, again, forgivable. But the way she kills people is kind of cool and very, very entertaining, especially when she has a triple barrel shotgun. Yes, I said triple barrel. While sidetracking from time to time to take care of the police that are chasing her because she's shooting these people or whatever. But almost every death scene is in slow motion. Almost every death and fight scene is in slow motion. So when she gets into fights, it's extremely slow, and you just hear, like, really slow, delayed, like, screams and stuff, and it's just amazingly just funny. Like, it's so unintentionally funny. It's amazing. With this film, I didn't really know what to expect. Having heard about it, I expected it to be similar to something like other 70s exploitation films like Alsa Shield for the SS or Last House on the Left. I was expecting something like that, something that, sure, it was controversial for the time, controversial and disturbing for the time, but nowadays it doesn't really hold up. Much like Last House on the Left, this movie's laughable nowadays. But I didn't know whether to expect that or expect a movie that is gritty, violent, and that will most likely hold up for a long time, like Cannibal Holocaust. And what I got was Cannibal Holocaust. This movie's very gritty. I mean, just because it's not that greatly acted or written, does not mean it's still not a very serious, dark, gritty movie. And really, this movie is amazing. It's an exploitation film that I would suggest to almost anybody that likes exploitation films. This movie, there's nothing I can say that's negative about it. Although I do have a couple things to say that aren't negative or positive, but they are kind of just a few interesting things I learned while watching this. The character Ellie Driver in Kill Bill was inspired by the main character in this. The chick with the eye patch in Kill Bill, she was inspired by the main character in this film. This movie has a lot of, this isn't really a fact, this is something I just put in the wrong section of these notes I took on this movie. This movie has a lot of, like, if you already couldn't guess, violence against women, which is very shocking to a lot of people. To me, it's not that shocking, although there were a few scenes that were just like, whoa, that's kind of much, guys. But yeah, this movie still holds up, similar to Cannibal Holocaust. And there's a scene where she gets her eye gouged out, and this scene is, I would compare it to the eye gouging scene in Zombie 2, which I'll put a link to the review of that. But the scene in this film is actually done with a real human corpse and a real, like, scalpel. So, the guy's actually stabbing the eye out of a corpse. While this scene isn't that long or drawn out, it's probably the most violent scene in the film, and it's definitely, I mean, when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, that's real. That's real. That's 100%. But anyway, guys, this is probably the most I've ever written on notes for a movie. When I usually do reviews, I usually write something down about the movie I would like to say, or something about the movie. This is probably the most I've ever written about a movie for the review, so I think I may have broken a record with this one. Anyway, guys, it's 5 out of 5. Definitely a good exploitation flick, and definitely one I'm gonna have to buy. I think this film is available to watch on YouTube. They may or may not take it down. Probably will, because people are going to see it that don't like that kind of film. So, yeah, see it while you can. I'm not going to provide a link. You gotta do this shit yourself, guys. Anyway, guys, I'm Biscuit Boo 69, 5 out of 5 stars for this movie, signing off.